I had an abortion because I was not married. I was in college and was petrified as to what my parents, family, and peers would think of me. During the abortion procedure, I was alone, afraid, ashamed, and numb, and had a deep sense that the procedure was inhumane and unnatural. Since abortions were common, I kept convincing myself that it would be okay, and that was the only option that would be acceptable and would hurt the least amount of people. Immediately after the abortion, I felt a huge piece of myself gone. I was in the recovery room all alone with no one consoling me. Sorry. I couldn't find any peace and felt a huge sense of loss and despair. There are no words to truly describe how a person feels after an abortion. There is a huge puncture in your soul, your entire being. I was sad when I saw a baby. I was mad at myself for carrying out the abortion and not reviewing and analyzing all of my options. I am mad at myself that I took something like becoming pregnant not as seriously as I wished I had. As time went on after the abortion, I immediately felt disconnected to everyone around me. I finally confided in my parents when they picked me up at college for spring break. They immediately took me to discuss the crisis with the priest, who then educated me immensely and referred me to an author and therapist who wrote Will I Cry Tomorrow, and helped me process my abortion. The priest memorialized my baby, which only crystallized the reality of aborting a baby. I will forever remember every moment of my parents' regret of not being able to see their first grandchild. I was surprised at my parents' knowledge of how destructive abortion is and their deep concern over this enormous decision that was made without their knowledge or input. I had barely seen my mother cry in my entire lifetime, and the night I told them about my abortion, I heard her sobbing the entire night. I didn't realize my parents would be so accommodating to help me raise my child and get me through an unplanned pregnancy. Of course, this just made the loss and regret even more deep. I feel love and forgiveness through the priest I was able to communicate within days after undergoing the abortion. I was also blessed to be in weekly therapy as I worked through all of the emotions, and I was able to get care very early on to process the enormous loss that otherwise would have been unaddressed. I am forever grateful that my parents were so in tune with how abortion would cause a serious aftermath of problems if not addressed, and they were able to get me help only days after. And for that, I feel very fortunate, and I am so sad that there are so many women who did not have this opportunity early on, as I know this is not the typical norm. Years later, after I gave birth to my son, who is now 9 years old, I still never forgot about my first pregnancy that I ended. I attended a Rachel's Vineyard weekend retreat when my firstborn was only months old, where I was able to further my emotional healing of aborting my baby. The sad feelings of my abortion were definitely heightened with the birth of my son years later. It was very sad. At 39 years old and having 3 children, 3 miscarriages, and 1 abortion, I realized how precious life is. From the moment you realize you are pregnant, that child is part of who you are, your dreams, hopes, life, and is a gift from God. That is why I am silent no more.